Hello everyone, I'm Dan Philgreen, and this is Shell Point Today for Monday, September 23rd. On today's show, we'll visit the Pavilion Salon, where auxiliary volunteers are helping Pavilion residents look and feel their best. We'll also preview today's performance of Presidents and Their First Ladies, presented by actors William and Sue Wills. But first, here to bring us Monday's headlines is Rochelle Chernowski at the news desk. Rochelle.
Thank you very much, Dan. Today we have some news from the health world, the art world, and the science world. It starts with the mobile mammography bus, which will visit Shell Point today from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. The service is available to anyone, no appointment needed, and it's even wheelchair accessible. Just visit the mobile mammography service, which is located in front of the Village Church from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. today. Also this morning, employee chaplain Don Steinhoek is asking the unusual question, are intelligent robots in your future? In fact, they may already be here. Learn more in Don's latest installment of Beautiful Science, an Academy class taking place this morning at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. And next week, we have an Academy art class that you need to put on your calendar. It comes from art historian Dottie Magan, who has previously taught popular Shell Point classes about the Renaissance and other topics. In October, she'll be here for 3 weekly sessions of art history, focusing on 3 famous artists. She begins next Thursday with the most famous 20th century artist of them all, Pablo Picasso. She'll also discuss Henri Matisse, who was a contemporary of Picasso's. Finally, she'll focus on Caravaggio, the 17th century Italian who is famous for his religious paintings. That's 3 sessions of art history from an expert right here at Shell Point, starting next Thursday, October 3rd. To sign up for all 3 classes, contact the Island Service Desk at 454-2282 or the Woodland Service Desk at 454-2054. You know, sometimes looking good is a big help to feeling good. We've seen this firsthand in the Shell Point Salon, especially with its satellite location in the Larson Pavilion, where volunteers help to get Pavilion residents made up and looking their best. We talked to a salon volunteer to learn more about this opportunity.
Hi, I'm Teri Kollath, and I am here in the salon in the Larson Pavilion, and I'm going to be speaking with our salon manager, Robyn Church, and one of our volunteers in the salon who lives in Coquina, and that would be Carol Ashley. Thanks for joining me, ladies.
Thank you, Teri. Pleasure.
We are looking for some more support in the salon here in the Pavilion, Carol. And I wanted to talk with you because you've told me many times how much you enjoy volunteering here.
I do, very much.
Tell me a little bit about what you do. What would somebody do if they came into the same role you fill here?
I'm here to do whatever the beauticians or the residents request me to do. It could be anything. One time I had a resident ask me to do a line dance while she sat under the hairdryer to pass the time quickly. It could be forming a new idea for a new activity. Some of the Springs residents asked me to do that, and we have our Happy Feet Dance Club. Whatever they need done, whatever I can do. Most of the time I'm transporting residents to and from their room.
But you bring up a very good point. The salon is a very social place.
Wonderful.
It's something that our residents look so forward to visiting, especially here in the Pavilion.
They do, and when I present the mirror to them at the end of their appointment and see the huge smile that crosses their face, there's no other high like that. It's just wonderful.
It is, to make sure people are having a good time in their day. Even living in a skilled nursing facility, there's so many things that can brighten your day and add quality to your life.
Exactly, and they brighten my day every time I'm here.
Well, I also want to point out that you do not need to be a licensed beautician to volunteer here in the salon at the
Certainly
Pavilion.
not. I'm not.
You are a teacher, a retired teacher, and
Exactly.
not so retired. You've been doing a lot of teaching recently.
Yes, I did.
But your love of people and the way you want to make somebody's day a little brighter is what brings you here. I know, Carol Ashley.
That's true.
Robyn, what is the value of having resident volunteers here helping in the salon in the Pavilion?
I can't say enough about how valuable it is. And Carol is such a gift to us. And so is Shelby. Shelby is another one of our wonderful volunteers. And it really just helps to make the experience to the salon just that much more pleasant. And it really helps us operate more efficiently, because transporting to and from the salon it can be difficult sometimes, because the staff get very busy here in the pavilion. So it's really just a huge help. Now, Carol also helps with taking out rollers. She may help with a shampoo, and she has just such a loving, caring spirit. It just transfers to our residents here in the pavilion.
And that's something we all have experience with our own hair.
Right.
We've washed our own hair, we've put rollers in and taken rollers out to extend that. And it's just such a nice feeling to have that touch, that friendly touch, and that attention paid to somebody sitting in that salon chair.
Absolutely. We all feel better, men and women, when our hair is looking good and it's clean. And, our scalp gets massaged, and the staff here, they always do a real good massage when they're doing a shampoo, because, that's an important part of the service, and it feels good. And that touch, that power of touch is so important, and really transferring that to our customers and our residents here with a lot of love.
Absolutely. Well, I think the main thing we want to get across is there's a lot of activity going on here in the skilled nursing facility we call the Larson Pavilion. And all of our resident volunteers in the auxiliary who help with activity are on our activities committee. So we hope that you will join Carol, Ashley, Shelby Merkel, and other activity volunteers in the auxiliary to provide that one-on-one fun activity for the residents who live here. I'm Teri Kollath. Please give me a call if you would like to help.
And now Dan is here with some presidential history. Dan?
Thank you, Rochelle. If there's one thing people love here at Shell Point, it's history. We probably have residents who can name all 44 presidents in United States history. But would you believe that there is someone who dramatically portrays all of the United States presidents, and his wife portrays all the first ladies? William and Sue Wills performed dramatic monologues in costume as the president and first lady, and have performed several of them here at Shell Point. Today, it's Teddy Roosevelt and his wife Edith. Come see this fascinating presentation at 1 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Let's meet the performers.
I got involved in college, and Sue had just always been sort of interested, and she joined a local community theater in Baltimore. And after I graduated college, I ended up in that same community theater group. And then in 1970, on May the 15th, I asked her on a date, and on May the 30th, I proposed to her. I went to the hotel business and did very well in a couple of years. I was the general manager of a 250-room Sheraton hotel in Ocean City. And we had our third child, and then we walked away from all of it. I came home one day and I said to Sue, we're going to start a children's theater, Sue. I'm going to leave my job.
You asked me.
I asked.
What would you think about starting a children's theater?
I did, and I said, I'll write the scripts and you write the music, and you do the costuming, and I'll build the sets and you make the sets. The only thing is, we had never done any of that before. We risked every penny we had, and in 3 months lost it all. Ironically, this lady who we met through our children's theater, we run into her one day later on. She's the head of our local elder hostel. She said, well, do you have any other ideas of what we could do? And Sue gave me, for Christmas, a set of books on the presidents and the first ladies.
Because I wanted to read them.
But I got my hands on it, and I found out every story was extremely interesting. So I suggested, and Sue said yes, that we teach a course together trying to show the personal side of these names in history.
I would do the hairdos, and we would use the accents, and we maybe would add a hat or a cigar or that kind of little props like that.
Suppose you invited the Fords over for dinner, and when it was over, you said to them, Jerry, babe, would you stand up and just tell us your life story? So they might, at some point in time, be talking directly to you. At another point in time, they might recreate a scene with themselves. And so over the next 5 years, we came up with 5 versions. And that's how basically we started to assemble these shows. And then when we closed our theater operation, we turned it into a tour. And we've been in 35 states doing our shows now. We purposely chose not FDR, not Truman, people that maybe they had heard of, but they didn't know too much about.
Calvin Coolidge
Coolidge.
probably had the most humor.
Abe Lincoln tells some good stories in there.
William Henry Harrison was only president for a month. People tend to really forget about him. But they had,
I think it was
14 children.
And Franklin and Mrs. Pierce, that's probably one of the saddest. They had lost 2 children already. And they had another son, beautiful little boy. She didn't want Franklin to be president. And a month before the presidency, they're in a train wreck. There's one fatality, the little boy.
Their 8-year-old boy.
And then she finds out.
She comes to the conclusion, well, he must have wanted you to give your whole attention to this job of president. That's why Benny was taken.
So those are just, some of the more obscure but really moving stories that you come upon.
He does all the research and the writing, and I will read some of their biographies just to get a feel of how they acted, you can kind of get how they spoke from letters, and people would describe their voices if you don't have voice clips of them. So you kind of work on that. But
some of the information on some of the early ones are hard to get unless they left behind letters and things that people kept, like Mrs. Adams or John Quincy Adams' wife, Louisa. Martha, although Martha Washington burned just about every bit of correspondence she had with George, she wrote letters constantly to relatives, and a lot of those relatives kept that information. It's bringing back memories, or the ones that they don't know much about. It's just that you made them into more people than just a name, in a book. Eventually, at its height, we would sometimes do 70 shows just here in Florida. And at the height, we would do 300 to 325 shows a year throughout the country. The ones that maybe mean the most to us are when you get to do a president at their presidential site.
we performed both Adams at the Adams homestead up in Quincy, Massachusetts. So that was great, right out in the barn and right out on the lawn. And had our pictures taken in their parlor. So in our costumes, it was like we really lived there.
And we did the Trumans at the Truman Library and the Hoover at the Hoover Library museums. It just kind of made it feel a little bit, special. www.presladies.com. If you click on them, it takes you to another page. You can read about all 33 couples we do and see 3 to 5 minute clips of every show that we have. This is really the simplest form of theater that you can get. I mean, 2 people standing behind 2 lecterns. And yet even the presidents, who they don't know very much about, can be very moving experiences for people. In a lot of ways, because there's always something in the story that's going to be the same as somebody's life out there. It might be that, in this case, that they lost a child that comes into this play, or that they had a father who sort of disowned them. It's all kind of little alcohol, problems that come in, or successes. So even though they might not know the history of that particular person, when they hear their story, they can either relate to them personally or somebody that they knew and say, that guy was just like Harding. That was really something.
You have the chance to see William and Sue in person portraying President Theodore Roosevelt and his wife Edith. They're performing today at 1 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. There's no cost, and all are welcome. But before we cover all the rest of today's happenings, let's get a preview of this week's Channel 13 radio program, Listening to the Words.
The memories will start flowing when you tune into Listening to the Words this week. It starts with a first-time contributor to the program who titles his memory, "What is a Daughter as Told by an Aging Father?" Next, a daughter remembers all the little rituals of her father as he filled her young head with the marvels of science. Then Joan Marshall caresses every word in her reading of How a Woman Views Her Own Body. Next, a famous actor is brought to life in My Lunches with Orson Welles. Then continent-hopping writer Terence Flannery reports on the simple love he's finding among children in the Philippines. Then yours truly's latest report from Shell Point's Island Walk. And there's much more. Oh, I almost forgot. An older lady is surprised at how well people on the road react when she goes for a drive. David Howenstein reminding you that you can listen to the words every day all this week on Shell Point Channel 13.
Welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, and I'm here with Mary Franklin today, and we're going to go over the activities offered here at Shell Point through Resort Services today. Our activities are going to start at 8 o'clock, where we have a mobile mammography van parked at the Village Church, so head on down there if you'd like. No appointments necessary. At 9 o'clock, we have round robin men's doubles tennis. That'll be at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. At 9:15, billiards will be in the Resident Activities Center. Also at 9:15, we have pottery with instruction available at the Pottery Studio down in the tunnel. Our last 9:15 activity is virtual bowling. That's also in the Resident Activities Center. That's followed by a 10 o'clock departure of our Suzy Q boat. They're going to Nervous Nellies for lunch. Sign up is required at the Island Greeters desk. At 10:30, we have the Disciple Men's Bible Study group in the game room of the Woodlands. At 10:45, table tennis will be played in the Tarpon room, and there will be a clinic going on. At 11:30, we have a Health Connections class, specifics in strength training. That'll be in the health club. Currently, that is full. And then we move to the afternoon, and here's Mary.
In the afternoon, we start things off with Mahjong being played in the Sable Room at noon. We head to a wonderful program taking place in the Grand Cypress Room at 1 o'clock, Presidents and their First Ladies. This will be Theodore and Edith Roosevelt. You don't want to miss it. But we have 5 options at 1:15 that you may be interested in as well. Astronomy group will be meeting in the Manatee Room, Scrabble in the Library Lounge, table tennis in the Tarpon Room, and tone chimes in the Osprey Room. And at 1:45, Health Connections Balance and Mobility Training Level 1 will be meeting in the Health Club on the island, and this is currently closed. The Beady-Eyed Bead group will be gathering in the Oak Room of the Woodlands at 2 o'clock. And we head to the Island Health Club for Pilates Stretch at 3 o'clock, and this is open to everyone. 3 o'clock, the Suzy Q heads out for Rum Runners for an early dinner, and a sign-up is required at the Island Greeter desk. Shell Point Singers rehearsal will take place at 3:15 in the choir room of the Village Church. And at 4:30, there's a great trip heading to Charlie's Boathouse. This dinner outing pickup will begin at 4:30 on the island, 4:40 at the Woodlands, and 4:50 at Eagles Preserve. It is currently full. And at 6:30, Duplicate Bridge will take place in the game room of the Woodlands. And also at 6:30, you can join the Beginners Square Dancing group in the Health Club on the island. And we wrap up Monday with square dancing in the Health Club at 7 p.m. Well, Bev, that was certainly a jam-packed Monday day. We hope you all had a wonderful day. We look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Teri Kollath with your Academy information for Monday. At 9:15, Developing Skills on Windows 7 continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. At 10 o'clock, we have Beautiful Science 9 in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. All are welcome. Please sign up at either service desk. At 10:15, the Anatomy of Words continues in the Buttonwood Room at the Woodlands, and all are welcome. At 1:15, Developing Skills on Windows 7 continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. Tomorrow, we have a digital camera prep school continuing, and the Story of India continues with Professor Adrian Kerr. Apple iPad tips and techniques will be offered by Penny Modridge of Nautilus, and designing and making greeting cards with a Hallmark program will be provided by 2 Lakewood ladies, Lois Sheehan and Carolyn Zanoniani.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is baked ham with scalloped potatoes and green beans. For dinner, it's the home cooking night for $9.95, and the soup of the day is Senate bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Monday, enjoy a Sloppy Joe with coleslaw for $6.95. For dinner, the special is char-grilled pork loin with roasted potatoes and fresh broccoli for $7.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Let me welcome you to Village Church Connections, and I'm also welcoming Pastor Andy Hawkins, who's joining me today.
Thank you.
Welcome, Andy.
Great to be here.
Andy, we have a regular opportunity that folks can participate in when they are newer to the Village Church or newer to Shell Point.
That's right.
And they want to find out a little bit more about the Village Church, its staff, its ministries. We call it Coffee with the Pastors. Tell us about that.
That's right. And so we do this every 2 or 3 months, and it's a great opportunity for people who want to get more personally acquainted with me and also with the pastoral staff and with you, Glenda, as well. So we're all there. And it's a great opportunity for us to get to meet them as well. We find out where people come from. And it's fascinating to see the wide variety of backgrounds people bring to them when they come to Shell Point to retire, but also to the Village Church. And so we have the coffee opportunity is available, and so we're looking forward to meeting people and having them have an opportunity to ask us some questions and for us to introduce ourselves. And as a matter of fact, if people have started coming to the Village Church and haven't had an opportunity to come to one of those, even if they come for a couple of years, please come. I think would be our message to them because I think it would be a great opportunity to help them get acquainted with us. And as someone who's a newish staff member, I love to get acquainted with people in that kind of setting.
Everybody has a story, and it's a great opportunity to just get to know each other a little bit better. And we do serve refreshments. We talk a little bit about the ministries of the Village Church, and it's an opportunity to ask questions.
That's exactly right.
So this will be Wednesday the 25th of September at 1:15 in the afternoon.
That's right.
In the hospitality room.
That's correct.
And then following Coffee with the Pastors, for those that are interested, we offer a membership class.
That's true. And we're doing that on Sunday afternoon, the following Sunday. Basically what I do is I walk everyone through what it means to be a member of the Village Church. And that begins all the way back in terms of what it means to be a member of the church in general, the Church of Jesus Christ, because obviously the Village Church is just a local expression of the body of Christ at large. And so we talk about what it means to be a genuine believer in Jesus, what it means to be connected with the church at large. The church not only that expands beyond geographical boundaries all over the United States, in fact all over the world, but all over history as well. It's an exciting story. And then also we talk about what it means to be a member of a local church and to make a connection with a church like the Village Church. And so it's a good introduction. We spend about an hour and a half going through some material and getting acquainted with the life and ministry here at the Village Church. And it's not an obligation that people have if they come to that to join the church, but it's one of the necessary things that we do to make sure that people are going to make an educated decision about joining with a local fellowship.
So no pressure,
absolutely,
but an opportunity for those.
In fact, I love to have all kinds of people come who are curious about what it means to be a Christian, what it means to be a church member, what it means to be involved in the Village Church. And certainly if people then are led by the Lord to join the Village Church, then we're happy to accommodate them, and we'll communicate what that process is like.
And we do offer something that's perhaps a little different than people are used to, in that we offer an associate membership.
That's right.
For folks that want to maintain membership in a church maybe up north and are only here part of the year, they can do that.
That's exactly right. And that's a very important dimension of this church's ministry, because obviously we have a significant number of people who do split time geographically, and they have a church home elsewhere, and they don't want to remove their ties from that church. But essentially being an associate member pretty much provides all the rights and privileges that you would have in being a regular member, with just maybe one or two small differences. And so a person can really be just as invested in the local church and being an associate member as being a regular member. And so we're happy to provide that option, and we'll talk about that during the membership class as well.
Great. So an invitation to those that are interested: Coffee with the Pastors on Wednesday, September the 25th at 1:15, and then a membership class Sunday, September 29th. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful day.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as Tim Stevenson previews the Q&A session he's offering in the Academy on Wednesday.
We'll also talk with Teri Bauer of Finemark Bank, who will tell us all about total return investing.
Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Monday, September 23rd. I'm Rochelle Chernowski.
And I'm Dan Philgreen. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.